Sit. We always walk Dulcie up to the person we're greeting. You stay like maybe 8 feet away, 8 to 10 feet away. Step away from her, hand that person the treat. She waits till you come back. With your right hand, she's on your left. If she pops up before you release her, because she wants to go over there, that's why this is a great thing to practice her sit stay. You just do what you just saw me do. If she pops up before you release her, give her a little tap and she'll go back. So with your right hand, and if she does it twice, no. Reset her like this. With your right hand, pat her chest and say, go say hi. She's going to go over, get a treat, get petted. Come. Call her back to come to you. Good. She gets the treat. Your left hand grabs the leash. The right hand has the reward in it. You step into her. Sit. It's a great little exercise to do with family members, with your kids. You know, just it's great. You got your sit stay, you got your release command, you got your come command. It teaches her not to jump. And we've done this every day with multiple people every day, so she's very familiar with this exercise. Go say hi. Everything good happens down there. Go ahead and grab the leash so she doesn't run back to me. The thing is, after you practice it for a while, come. Instead of her wanting to jump all over somebody, all she wants to do is come back to you, which really helps you in the long run as well. Sit. Calling her away from distractions, because when we first started doing this, she would be excited, she'd want to jump all over the people because she was just an excitable puppy. And now, in her mind, I can't wait to run back to my handler, and in your case, it'll be you, her owner, because good stuff happens when I go back. It's all about coming back to you, away from distractions and away from exciting situations. It's a pattern that's been set, and now she just doesn't even know why she does it. She just does it automatically. Go say hi. Come. And then, good, having the treat down there and being down there to meet her, to pet her, keeps her from jumping, because the only reason that she would jump, sit, would be because somebody stands there, doesn't give her attention, she jumps, people start doing this and, you know, talking to her and telling her off or whatever. And of course that is attention for that behavior. So when she comes over to you, anytime you have a chance to beat her to the punch, you start petting her before she starts jumping. Go, one more time. And then if she starts jumping, you say no, and you can instruct your friends or family to do that, and you also have the come command. Come. Good girl. That's what has stopped the jumping. So you see how it works here, and you just keep practicing it this way. Also, it's a great way to practice in your yard, in your house, just to get like more than half of the training down. You get to practice the come command, you get to practice the sit stay. You can add in a little sit stay like this before you go, send her over. Come, you know, so good. It's a great way to just practice a lot of the training in a real life context. Sit. With people when they come home from work or school or whatever with kids, and that just makes her so much calmer overall if she gets used to being calm like this in those types of situations, and gets used to doing the training with you in those types of situations. Sit. You always walk her up to the mat, have her sit first. Make sure that leash stays loose, because if you're restraining her and you're holding her back, that's not training, of course. The training is that she willingly stays in a sit stay, doesn't leave that sit stay until you release her. So, but if she does pop up before you release her, which she might, because she gets anticipatory and she kind of jumps the gun, you just tap and say no, and she goes back. So with your right hand, pat her chest and say, go to your mat, and walk over and say down. And she's automatically triggered to go down on that mat, because this is the only behavior we practice on this mat. And so when I send her over, she automatically does the only thing that she ever does there, and she gets paid for it. Good. That's why this is a fast track. And she may or may not eat the treats. We're using this natural balance, which she tends to like. Most dogs like it. It's the lamb and chicken flavor. But if she doesn't eat the treats, you still are going to do this, because it's not about the treats, it's about working for you. And even if she's not fully motivated with treats, at this point, since she knows this system really well, you just take her through her paces, put her through her paces, and whether she wants a treat or not, and then good, it still helps, it still makes her better. It's really not about getting treats every time, it's about just doing the job with you and getting rewards for doing it successfully, and then having free time. Good, so that time I walked around both ways, just a basic downstay. This mat exercise is the fast track to teaching her a really solid downstay without the mat, because we're always, no matter where this mat is, we're always sending her to that, that piece of fabric, and once she's good in one spot, we can do it in a lot of different spots, and it helps her generalize a lot quicker as far as downstays in different environments, different locations. And then she'll do it without the mat, which is great, which she does now. But on this mat exercise, I usually do it about 5 minutes a day. I set my timer for 5 minutes, and I start really easy like I did today here. And then after I do the walk around downstays, and I start doing things like pulling on the leash. This may or may not make her get up. Good. You don't want to hurt her by pulling too hard, but I was pulling, very insistently, like most dogs pop up and they run over to you in the beginning, but she knows that she doesn't leave the mat unless she's released. Good, so it's just another way to practice that downstay. Since I'm in a fenced yard, I can walk around her and do much wider circles. I can go all the way around. I can, come over here. I can do things like close the gate behind me, whatever. In your house, in your environment, you'll have all kinds of things you can do that might trigger her to pop up. And of course, when I first started doing this, she would pop up for any of these things. Good. Right now I'm trying to make her make a mistake. So why don't you, it's funny, sometimes she'll do that where she noses the mat like that and she plays with the treat a little bit. It's just one of her little idiosyncrasies. Not all dogs do that. Most dogs don't, but that's just who she is. So she's still in a down. I'm going to try to make her a mistake, have her make a mistake, do something that makes her make a mistake. Already she's losing focus. Nope. So that's kind of a mistake because she's playing with the food and she's supposed to be focused and staying in a downstay. So you say no, you reset her. And I'm just going to remove these treats because she's not that hungry at all, so the treat's not going to help. But I'm going to show you what to do if she makes a real mistake, if you try something and then she pops up. So I'm going to walk over here and show what I'm doing and then show her, okay? So I know this is going to be difficult for her. No. We'll put her back there. And I'll show you how to, we'll see if she makes a mistake, and I'll show you how to put her back. So I'm going to walk over here. I'm going to remind her down, because this could be difficult for her. I'm going to go out this other big gate as well. Now show her. And you're going to hear me going out this gate, and I'm going to close this gate behind me. I'm outside on the street. She can't see me. Now I'm coming back in to show her. So that was pretty good. I thought she'd pop up, but she didn't. So she would, if she wanted a reward, good, you give her the reward. Of course, she doesn't want it. She's going to play with the food, so I'm going to take that back. But if she popped up, she popped up. Okay, so there's our mistake. She was anticipating, oh, we're done. He picked up the leash, and she jumped the gun, like a lot of dogs might. So you're going to say no. You're going to reset her, put her back. Most likely she'll put herself back because she knows how to do this. She just lost focus. So what made her lose focus was me picking up the leash. So that time, now she's like, she knows that I'll reset her 5 times in a row if need be. So she doubled down on her concentration. She made herself stay there because she wants to be free. And so I picked up the leash. I stand back next to her, pat my leg and say, okay, sit, have her sit, lead her off the mat, just like that, have her sit, and then release her to be free. Go, like that. And always pick up this mat because This is sacred. She only goes on this mat with your permission, exactly how I just showed you. She only comes off with your permission, exactly the way I just did it. It's not a doggy bed. It's not a place to hang out. If she has a doggy bed, that's a free time place. She can come and go as she pleases. It would be very confusing to her, and it would dilute the power of the training if you tried to do downstays on the dog bed, because that's a place where she associates the dog bed as a place to relax and sleep and maybe play with toys or whatever. So this is specifically for this. It's to develop concentration and focus in the dog, which the byproduct is to make her much calmer. As you can see, she's already a lot calmer after just a month of this. So you want to designate, doesn't have to be one of these official training mats. It could be like a bath mat or anything with a rubberized bottom that's not going to slide on your slick floors. And you put it down, go get her, only use it the way I used it here. You finish the exercise, take her off the mat, and then you put it away somewhere. That's it. She never gets to walk on it or hang out on it. So this is a very big part of the training that really teaches her a solid stay, and practicing this every day makes her calmer and calmer and calmer. So just like 5 minutes a day, if you don't have 5 minutes, try to do it for 3 minutes. Just make sure that you always end on a success, and it's more about the quality of what you do as opposed to the amount of time. So just try to do it every day, whether it's 2 minutes or 3 minutes or 5 minutes. Just try to do it every day and on a success. Always be challenging her. If it's you moving, walking into another room and disappearing and coming back, and that makes her pop up, we'll work on that for a while until you get a success on that. And then when you're successful with that, then you're done for the day. And just work on things that way, and over time you just go down a list of things that triggers her to lose focus and pop up, and you get one out of the way and she's successful, and then you find something else. So always keep pushing the envelope a little bit so that she's always challenged a little bit, and she'll keep learning and growing that way. Okay. Okay, so we always bring her up to the crate and have her sit first. And it's just like any other boundary. It's actually a very important boundary. It's the boundary to her den. The crate has been developed as her den. This isn't her crate, and this is not where, this is not where her crate is. Obviously, we're just doing the video out in the yard because we have a lot more space here to film. So inside the house where her crate is, we're gonna have her sit. We're going to open the door. No. See, she loves to go in there, and you can see, no. And she loves to go in there a little bit too much. You have to make sure that she waits. No. See how each time, for some reason, this is way worse than it is inside. Usually she sits and waits and she's fine. But see how I keep it loose? You never restrain her. Go. And she goes in. And I know the reason she loves to go in there, she goes in there, turns around, she gets a little treat. And that's why the crate is just developed as a super positive place. Every interaction with her, with every dog that we have here, the crate is every interaction in the crate with us and them is super positive. She goes in, she gets a treat, we close the door. When we go in to get her out, it's open the door, treat, hook her up, bring her out. And I just wanted to show you what we're doing here. Obviously, this is a solid plastic crate. We don't use cages. We use this solid plastic crate because the dogs definitely, we're simulating a den. It's a cozy place. It's a place where they can go in and isolate if they want. They have a little privacy. We put blankets in there. We also feed them in there. So feeding time, they're in their crates. We bring the bowls of food and they eat in there. They're all eating together. It's a great way to equalize all the dogs as well. And of course, in the house, there's always more than one or two dogs getting trained, and they're all watching each other go in and out like this and walking past each other on leashes. They're all eating together. They're chewing their bones together. We can't ever have a fight, and there are never fights, because whenever there's food, they're all in their crate. Whenever they're chewing on bones, they all got their individual crates, and they know they're all together, but there's no way that anything bad can happen, and they start to become desensitized over time to other dogs and realizing they're all equals, and we're in charge. So it works really well with us here. But if you continue that when she goes home, you just have this extra little bit of control over her. It's an extra bit of structure that she has in her life. It's all about the structure that she has now that she didn't have before. It gives her a system of how to live, and you orchestrate it so it makes you the boss. And you use this instead of using corrections and, being mean and tough with her, and that was never really effective anyway. Well, by the way, if she is, when you put her away and you take this little prong collar off, you just hang it on the door, because if you don't, it'll get tangled up. You just throw it down and it'll get tangled up in itself. So hang it on the door when you're going to take her out. You just hook it up to this funny looking, strange shaped buckle. The round ring is just a spacer, and so you're not going to touch that. It should be like that. It shouldn't be twisted, so just let it hang, make sure it's not twisted. And the leash is already on it. They're all ready to go. And I always open the door, give her the treat, stick your hand in there. Make sure that she doesn't stick her head out and you give her the treat there. You'll teach her to come out of the crate. So put your hand back there. So she's in there, she takes the treat, and then you just reach back there, and you can't see this, but one hand is kind of hooked under her collar for a second to get her to where I need her to be, and then the other two hands just put this collar on, and you get really good at it after a while, just without even having to look at it. And then you make sure that she waits, that she doesn't burst out of the crate. So if she does try to run out of the crate before you release her, you just do these little token slams like that. She knows what that means. So if she did try to come out, you say no and do that. And make sure that she waits until you say, okay. And then close the door, because the whole power of the crate is that you control her access in and out of the crate. That's the whole point of using the crate, is the doorway. So it's closed when she's in, it's closed when she's out. Good stuff happens in the crate. She needs your permission to come in or out of there, and it really improves your relationship with her. If you did it strictly the way we've been doing it, there's less likelihood that she wants to jump on you, there's more likely that she's going to come when you call her. It's just another piece of the puzzle that adds to all the other things that makes her feel like you are in charge and you're orchestrating her life. So that's why we do this. And everything good happens in the crate. Feeding, bones, chewies, treats, all that stuff. That's why they love to go in there. That's why she loves to go in there. And then you control her going in and out, just like I showed you. Also, she's been sleeping overnight in the crate. So she's used to that. And she goes through, like right before bedtime, she goes out, she goes to the bathroom. In the morning, first thing, let her out. So we've had no problems. She's never had an accident in there. She does really well with that routine. So if you continue that at your house, I think it really will add to the rest of the training. Okay. We are going out on the street with Dulcie, and I had her sit a little bit close to this gate, so it's extra hard for her. But we always have her sit at all the boundaries leading from inside my house out on the street, and this is the not scariest one, but this is the hardest one for her to handle. See how I had her sit? She stayed there. I stepped away from her. I stepped out. I stepped back. She's waiting for me to allow her, okay, to walk through with me. It's difficult because it leads out onto the street where everything's happening. And see how I'm barely walking and just tapping her? If you want her to not pull you through boundaries anymore, gates and doorways and all those different types of boundaries, stairways, you need to slow it down. And especially at the threshold, sometimes you have to just stop and make sure she stops as well. And the way you handle the leash is you tap and release, tap and release. It's not to cause pain. It's like tapping the brakes. And if you walk slowly and you move slowly, she'll slow down as well. So I'm gonna move right here and have her sit at the curb, because we're not ready. Sit. We're not ready to start the walk yet. We're still doing our little before walk little exercise. So what I do is I have her wait at all the boundaries, and see I'm doing a basic little sit stay at the curb. Every boundary we stay at and we wait at like this, okay, she starts to perceive as my boundary, because she can't go through it or go over it, go past it without my permission. And if you were consistently doing this for a while, she's way less likely to run out in the street, run through a doorway. We did the same exact thing at my front door. Walked through the yard, went to that gate, you saw that part. Sit, went to the curb, you saw that. Cross the street slowly and calmly. And then on the other side, I have her sit and release her calmly. That's where I pat her chest. No, don't let her touch your hand. Go. And you get to start the walk like this instead of the usual way most people start the walk. The dog's excited on the inside of your front door. You put the leash on, you open the door, she pulls you out, you run through the yard, she pulls you down the steps or, down the street, across your yard. And then right off the bat, she sees a dog or somebody that triggers her and she starts barking and pulling. And if you start the walk the way I've been doing it every day here, she's going to be a lot calmer. And you see, even when she wanted to pull over there, I just tapped and released. Tapped and released. She wants to go sniff something, I'm going to let her. But definitely don't ever have that leash be like this. Don't ever restrain her, because all that's going to happen is she's going to pull away more. And continuous leash tension creates overstimulation in a dog and will stress her out. And then she's right there on a hair trigger to react to the next distraction that shows up. Come. You also have your recall. Good. So you can call her back just anytime you want and she comes running back. She's got a pretty good recall now. And we practice with a lot of situations. We're going to show you more of those in the next couple of clips. Okay. Sit. We're practicing our basic obedience out in public with a lot of distractions. So we're practicing in the presence of a lot of distractions. Good girl. That's going to be a tough one. That cart going past us, but she stayed there, and that was good. So we practiced here, and that was too much. Nope. So when she popped up, I just reset her. Even if you take her to a very active type of place with a lot of distractions, nope. And she makes a couple of mistakes, this is still making her better. She'll make a mistake or two, you'll reset her, she'll be successful, she'll get a reward. Nope, make sure she really waits until you actually give her a reward. Good. Let's do it one more time. So even doing it this way, it makes her better, because we're always going to end on a success. And every day we do this, good. She builds up a little bit more of a tolerance to stress and is able to handle just a little bit more every day. And we've actually never practiced in this spot before. We've been practicing in other places at this store. It's a big place. So every new spot you practice in, she might have a little bit of an issue, and then she clicks in. Good. And then she's good here, and then you find a new spot to practice at. But every time it makes her better and better. Okay. Down. We're going to practice our down stay here. It's right by the main entrance, so we're going to get a lot of people, good, coming past, and we have some children walking past, and she really gets excited when little kids walk past. Although, when you're doing this exercise with her, she's pretty much focused on you. Nope. Good. And she's been pretty good. We got the wheels, we got the carts, everybody walking past from all directions. And, it's not easy for her. But at the same time, it's very valuable to do things like this. Good. To develop a higher level of focus. And if she can do this, it means she can be calm in ever increasing levels of distraction. You can just go. We're not even here. Good. whenever you're practicing in a difficult situation like this, even if you get a minute or two good of a success, you always want to leave on a success. You could stay longer, but sooner or later there's going to be 3 or 4 cards coming by at the same moment and she's going to pop up. So I'm going to release her okay on a success. Sit. And always release her this way from a down. You say okay, she gets up, you have her sit, and then go. That's how you release her, be free. And if she chooses to collapse into a down again, that's her choice. But so we'll just stay here for another few moments while people walk past. It's not because of the treats that I have right now, but it's because for a month I've been practicing with rewards and only giving her rewards for individual learned behavior. Individual things that she's done, she gets paid. Each time she does this successfully, I'm going to just put this right here. And then you phase the treats out, and you phase them out a specific way, and you still have the same thing because you don't need the treats anymore. So make sure that once she's really good at something, you don't give her treats for that anymore. You only do treats for something you're working on. And you see how calm she's become in a very could be a stressful place for a lot of dogs. I think she would have used to been jumping around and maybe jumping on people. But she's not even in a downstay now. She's just on free time. Good girl. Good girl. Good. So you want to do this training because the byproduct of this training is when she's on free time, she's calm and she's not, driving you crazy by jumping all over the place and pulling or whatever she was doing before. Okay, let's go for a walk. Let's go. Oh, here's another dog. Come. Just in case you were ever having an issue with other dogs on the street on a leash, come. I wanted to show you how she is when another dog just pops up, and this little dog just popped up right in front of us. Come. And of course, Dulcie is really good with a lot of dogs, but sometimes they're different when they're being walked by their owners on the street. And you noticed that from the other clips, when I'm walking her or handling her, the leash is always loose. I'm never doing this. I'm never letting her pull me or any of that. That's the kind of thing that causes leash overstimulation, which can cause a dog to bark. I don't think she'd ever be leash aggressive. She could be, I guess, if that happened enough. But you want to always keep the leash loose. And so, can you walk around and like move a little bit? There you go. And she's very, come. She wanted to run over there. Good. See what happened? As soon as I called her to come, she ran back. She wanted to run over and probably play with that dog. So let's just do it one more time. Come. Yeah, she wants to play. But I just wanted to do a little clip here of her being surprised by another dog on the street, on a leash, just to show you how she's been acting here. And at first, I think, when I first started bringing her out here, I think it was, a little bit harder for her to handle seeing a dog on the street, and she got excited, but she's much calmer now. And you always have your come command. So if she starts barking or pulling, come, you just call her back to you. Good. And notice how when I call her to come to me, left hand leash, come, right hand reward, good. My other hand grabs a collar, or if she's on a leash, the leash. So make sure that you always call her to come that way. It's always a closed target hand like this. She comes to you, good. You always say good when you give it to her, and make sure the other hand grabs the leash or collar, because what can happen, a smart little dog like this can realize that she can come and grab the treat and then turn her back on you and run back to whatever it is. So always make sure she gets used to, at the very moment you say, come, hook your hand under that collar. That's her regular collar, the one with her tags on, not the metal collar. Or she has a leash on, grab the leash, so you have her, and so she gets used to staying with you when you call her to come. And good girl. As you can see, she's controllable when it comes to come, another dog on a leash out in public. Good.